Hello. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining. Thank you for attending this morning session covering food traceability and FSMA tool. Today, we'll be talking in the next 15 minutes on how smart technology enhanced with AI simplifies the compliance journey. My name is Hank Karayan, Global Head of FSMA, Cosmetics, and Pharma Assurance at SGS. For those of you who have been working with SGS, I would like to also say a few words about the company just to reintroduce ourselves to you. SGS is the global leader in testing, inspection, certification, audits, and also regulatory solutions. I am joined today by Krešimir Duračić, CEO and founder of Enceso. Enceso is also a leader in its own segment, which is technology for traceability. Innovative technology, which is exactly what we will be seeing here today, and that's why we have partnered with Enceso to be able to bring up this specific topic for today to you. First off, we have named the session or focused the session on FSMA 204. However, it could be FSMA 204, it could be other regulations requiring traceability, food traceability specifically, or it might be a client specification or client requirement of yours, but at the same time it might be a company requirement, which is probably the most important one in this case, that requires traceability. However, if we want to take a little bit of a quick summary into FSMA 204, what is it? It's basically an FDA regulation that focuses on traceability, and in this case, records requirements. Requirements for records for traceability, the objective being enhancing safety, food safety, and identification and removal of contaminated products the minute that contamination or consumer recall is detected. So it's really the case, in this case, we are talking about making it more effective and efficient, this whole process of recall and traceability for FDA. Within the system of traceability that FDA has specified, there are 7 critical tracking events. These are like your CCPs for HACCP-based systems. However, they are not CCPs. They are specific, and the regulation has specified what those key critical tracking events are, and those 7 critical tracking events are accompanied, therefore they require specific data, specific records that are called key data elements associated with each tracking events. So it's really very prescriptive, it's very descriptive. In fact, we see that in a lot of cases, it is different from the voluntary standards and the traceability requirements in the voluntary standards in terms of these prescriptive requirements, because one of the things that we will be talking about today is really the traceability record. However, at the end of the day, just to give you an example of those differentiators, FDA would like to have some sort of a sortable spreadsheet with certain aspects, with certain specific data associated with that spreadsheet in order to be able to have full traceability of the full supply chain. And we will be talking about this at different webinars, and we do have already many webinars on this topic, and we would be happy to have you also at our booth to discuss in detail if you need any additional information on this specific topic. However, what we have also in our discussions with our clients, what we have seen in terms of challenges are there when we're talking about actual implementation of a traceability system, especially in a digital traceability system. A lot of times clients have the challenge of internal processes not supporting those traceability requirements. Those could be existing systems, existing codes, existing specific processes that are manual, that do not support traceability, where traceability is broken here and there. And that's an issue that has to be addressed, obviously, and it's a challenge when traceability systems come into play. Another thing, another challenge that companies face today when trying to implement a traceability, digital traceability, is their existing IT systems are not able necessarily to handle the data the way traceability data needs to be handled, so that the data is reliable, so that the data is adequate. And in the case of regulations, that data should also be compliant. Another challenge that the industry has been sharing with us is that there are different suppliers, partners upstream, with different types of data generated. And that data is coming to the companies, is coming to the manufacturing sites, for instance, in different formats. Some of them are manual, some of them are digital, some of them are semi-digital, and therefore it's a challenge to be able to pull all that data in and be able to kind of have a cumulative data that is reliable coming from the suppliers. And that's a big challenge when an IT system, when a platform is not able to handle that kind of flexibility, if you like. And of course, traceability sharing the data. One thing we talked about is pulling the data into the system, but there's also, we talked about kind of the internal system and generating that traceability data. But what happens next? Because really that data would have to go to the next level. It would have to go to your partners. And that's another, obviously, challenge that the industry will have to address. And of course, we have the IT systems and the complexities, the structures of the company. We have been talking to companies that have had acquisitions, that have had structural changes. Different, therefore, with acquisitions, as most of you are aware of, you would have different companies with different IT systems, with different processes. And therefore, agility is a very, very important aspect when it comes to having a system in place that is able to make sure all those data systems are working together in harmony. And that's another challenge when it comes to digital platforms. Last but not least, budget. And that's an obvious one, right? So when we are talking about having a traceability system in place, that requires budgeting, that requires scalability in terms of having a system from down to bottom, starting from a certain area within the organization and then growing it all over the company. So, and that is also something that digital technologies would have to have in place. So, I would like to introduce to you our digital platform, Tracky. And in the next segment, presented by Krešimir, we will see how those challenges are addressed with Tracky in the most effective manner. Krešimir?
Thank you, Henk. My name is Krešimir Đuračić, and I'm the CEO of Enseso, and I'm here to present you the Tracky, our comprehensive traceability solution for the FSMA 204 compliance. Tracky has been already implemented in the various regulatory-driven industries, currently reliably tracking around a couple of billions of items annually. This proven track record emphasizes our expertise into state-of-the-art traceability solutions. Our software is built on robust, scalable architectures designed to handle the complexities of the entire supply chain, from the immediate start of harvesting at the end of the final transactions. We are also aware that the food supply chains are dynamic. Therefore, solution is designed in a sense to grow together with your business. Second, traceability from the farm to fork. Tracky is engineered to be used across the entire supply chain, starting from farmers and fishermen till the restaurants and retailers. We are actually recognizing the unique needs of every single participant, so system is able to adjust directly to those who are specifically addressing your needs. That way, your path to compliance should be much more simple and easier. While large partnership with the SGS might maybe imply that we are targeting only large clients, in reality, the food safety food supply chain is going to be successful only if we are tackling all participants with that supply chain. Therefore, we are really trying to be simple, cost-effective, and reliable of all participants with that complex food supply chain. Because, as you already know, the chain is as strong as the weakest link is, so actually any compromise, regardless of the source, can actually jeopardize the whole system, of course, making cost-effective recalls and ruining the credibility of the companies. So actually, by empowering every participant with accessible tools, we are actually strengthening the whole supply chain from the smallest to the largest one. Integrated transparency. So majority of the traceability regulations worldwide are right now asking for companies to record certain critical tracking events and attached key data elements. At the beginning, that seems pretty hectic. But after initial analysis within every of our customers, we are actually finding out that majority of the data already exists within some internal legacy systems, enterprise resource planning systems, warehouse management systems, or even accounting systems, where track is fitting in. So tracking is serving as an aggregator of all this information into comprehensive and structured traceability records. It's designed in a way to enable simple integration with any kind of legacy system, providing unified view. Same way, we also understand that our partners within the supply chain also have different traceability systems. And safe supply system without interoperability and connection between all the parties downstream and upstream supply chain is almost impossible. Same way, we are using standard data exchange protocols to enable integration capabilities with the other systems, setting up the foundation for the really connected and interconnected food supply chain. Accessibility is very important for us. As I already said, we are really trying to aim and connect all dots within the supply chain, no matter of the size. So the track is offering simple, user-friendly interfaces, multilingual support, and comprehensive training to empower even underserved communities within the modern food system. Just to give you an example how we are also trying to go beyond the compliance, we are also using IoT sensors to enrich the data within the supply chain system in a sense that we are able not only to react when something happens, but also to be proactive to prevent that something wrong happens. I'm just going to show you an example of what it is today. So as you can see, this is inch by inch 4-gram temperature sensor, able to store the data about the journey of your food from 1 month till 6 months. It's completely reusable. So by using these kind of things, we are really able to be proactive in that sense. And short, for the end, we are also leveraging artificial intelligence. Track is leveraging artificial intelligence in a way to automate and simplify certain tasks for the data capture. What that means in reality, just imagine small farmer that do not have much technology readiness. By using Track artificial intelligence tool, he will be able to capture data from the images, from the voice commands, or even from the sensor data. Same way, as in many cases, many companies are still using paper forms and even written documents. By using artificial intelligence, Track is also able to capture data and the digitized paper records into, again, structured traceability records. That way, we are trying to minimize manual work and decrease human errors. That way, we are really trying to achieve the transparent and connected supply chain for everybody, no matter of their size. Hank,
Sure. Am I mic? Perfect. Well, in the next segment, what we will do is really have a live demo of how this AI function works within TrackKey. So we have here a case of apples, courtesy of our neighbors here. So, what we will try to do in the next segment is really, on this screen right here, you will see how that scanning process works from using just a cell phone. Why are we doing this? Just to showcase the capability of TrackKey and how it could work without, for any company, small or large, even those that have capabilities of IT systems and supporting them, and those who do not, especially companies or entities like farms, for example.
yeah. So just to repeat once again, events into traceability system must be entered, of course, in the digital form and in structured way. So as I previously mentioned, farmers who are not that much technology ready can really utilize the AI to provide such things immediately. So, okay, let's try it. As you can see right now, directly coming, I'm going to just take an image of this case of apples. System will now process. So it will determine location, it will determine the date and time, it will determine what it is, and immediately everything is prepared in a form of the structured traceability record, as you can see it here. So it's also tried to count the apples because you saw 16, but this is still artificial intelligence. It needs us, so we can either accept that or correct and immediately save it as traceability record. One thing that I didn't mention is that we are also dealing with the accessibility of information to end consumers. So as you can see, and you can try to scan that QR code from your mobile phone, the system is automatically creating GS1 digital link that is giving accessible information from the food supply chain directly to the consumers. And I think this is where I'm going to conclude our presentations. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And of course, if you have any questions, we'll be happy to discuss. And my colleague can also give closure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here, and we appreciate it. Thank you. We are at booth number 10, the entrance, so please feel free to pass by if you have any questions. Thanks again.